Alright, so now it looks like our gray foam sepia wash is mostly dried on the posters. It's dried on a few of them, so we can get started with our next step. Next up, we're going to need that mechanical pencil we had before, or a different one, whatever. But this time we actually do need the lead in it. I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. Because what we're going to do, and this also involves a bit of creativity, because you have to think of things to put on your posters. So we're going to start here with this one. The things that we want to put on our posters, we don't need to, but it makes it a lot easier to trace out in pencil first. And it makes painting them over like a gazillion times easier. Now, there's two ways of doing this. One is you can actually draw out tiny letters. This is very difficult to paint over afterwards, takes a lot of practice. And the other is to just put sort of indistinct little scratch marks. We're going to do both on this piece, just as a demonstration, and also because I don't feel like writing out full posters on all of them. So I'm going to put a little border pattern. Now when you're writing with your pencil on this stuff, just like when we're drawing the brick patterns, you need to be very gentle because it's easy to scratch the paint off with your graphite lead piece. Now granted, it's not the end of the world if you scratch the paint because you're going to be painting over it anyway, but it's something to look out for because sometimes when you scratch the paint, it won't just be the line that you were drawing on, but it'll actually shred off like a whole bunch of paint. Alright, so right there I just put some little corner borders on this. And where did I put it? Get the yellow foundation paint I was using earlier. Aiden Dark Sun, it's called. Here. My hands are shaking a little bit because I've only really had donuts and coffee to eat today. That was like 3 hours ago. Just going to put a little bit of bordering on here. Now the tracing with the pencil, you only really need to do that if you're writing actual letters or actual designs. If we're just doing this sort of indistinct scribbles, it's not as necessary. And I'll show you how that goes in a second. The other thing is, this is something that you can practice quite easily. It's not like painting like Space Marines or something, where you only have 6 Space Marines or whatever, and you paid $25 for them, so you don't want to fuck them up. Practicing painting detail like this, you can practice it on anything. It takes almost no paint. You don't even need to use your nice paint to practice it. And you can practice it on like a piece of cardboard or whatever. Alright, so next up we're going to do some indistinct writings on one of these posters. So I screwed out a little bit of charcoal gray. You can use black or white or whatever colors, letters you want. And just, you know, little squiggle marks. You know, when you're putting them on, try and make them in little clumps so they look like words or something like that. Another thing you can do sometimes is, when I've done this in the past, I've had at the beginning of a line of squiggles, had like one capital letter, the way people sometimes do with magazine articles and posters. They'll have an extra large letter heading things off. So yeah, it looks okay from a distance. Yeah, and so I'm going to detail all these and come up with weird things to put on the posters. Alright, so the posters are mostly done. Next up what we're going to do is the bricks. We're going to use some terracotta red, We don't want to paint the whole brick red, since we did that brown coat earlier. So we're not going to be quite dry brushing it, like we're not wiping it off or anything first, but we're just going to be running our red over the surface of everything. To just catch the outside parts and not the crevices. Before you know it, it looks like you have nice red terracotta bricks holding the place together, with nice big cracks in them and whatnot. And we'll use the same thing over by the staircase that we made earlier, because that has brick creases that I put in. And then I think we'll be just about done with this thing. Alright, and our new post-apocalyptic house is completed. I'm just going to take a moment to show off all the posters and the bricks. We got a Red Elvis's poster here, an advertisement for raunchy rocket liquor. Some sort of chart that's been scribbled on. Another ad for Super Truck, a radioactive notice of some variety. See the bricks, and then, I don't know if you can see it here, you can see the bricks on the staircase there. And this puppy is done.